You worked across India, the Middle East, Europe, and now Canada. What originally made you choose Canada as home?
I loved working in India. I loved working with Indian Council of Medical Research. I had a really good post. Then I thought, okay, where are my chances? And I can keep my medicine or medical research together. So I chose 5 different countries: US, UK, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada.
We see that MCCQE pass percentage is quite good, like even NAC. It's more than 80%.
CaRMS is a whole different world. It's an algorithm. It's not only about passing the exam, but also better the score, your CaRMS opportunity will get higher.
You didn't match this calm cycle. So, what was the moment like for you, doctor?
Was it hard for me? Yes. Was it saddening? Yes, I would say, because I had hopes and dreams around it. I had personal planning around it. But it is what it is. And accepting the fact and understanding the system makes it easier. By 21st of April, the March 2nd result will come out. 365 seats are remaining, and I'm ready for it. I mean, if it happens, it happens. Otherwise, again, November 2026, I will apply again.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to GooCampus. So, today's conversation is not just about medicine, it's about resilience. We are speaking with Dr. Ashok Kumar Biswas, an internationally trained physician with over a decade of experience across India, the Middle East, Europe, and now Canada. His journey spans across clinical medicine, public health, research, and community based care, working across diverse settings from hospitals to vulnerable communities. He has cleared all major Canadian licensing exams on his very first attempt while actively contributing to the community care, education, and mentorship. Today, we talk about the reality of the IMG pathway, the emotional weight of setbacks, and what it truly means to keep going even when everything tells you to stop. So, a very warm welcome to you, Doctor. Thank you so much for taking time for being with us here today.
No worries. Thank you so very much for inviting me. I'm glad to be here. Honestly, very humbled.
So, Doctor, now you worked across India, the Middle East, Europe, and now Canada. What originally made you choose Canada as home? Can you just briefly tell us about your journey from your MBBS days to till date?
MBBS date till date. Oh, that's a long journey. I always wanted to have a PhD after MBBS. And so I applied for Johns Hopkins School of Public Health. I did get a chance, couldn't afford it financially. So I went for a diploma in public health in India and then followed by a master's degree in vitality and aging, where I represented India with full scholarship in the Netherlands for Leiden University. Once I graduated, in fact, just before graduation, I got offered from Indian Council of Medical Research to get some research done among Jawas and Nicobaris in in Andaman Nicobar Islands. And from there, my journey began as a professional. So I started working in collaboration with different ministries of health in the Middle East, but it was under the umbrella of World Health Organization. So joining with Indian Health Ministry. So I worked for both and I kept going back and forth. And after that, during my master degree in Netherlands, I fell in love with somebody and I wanted to have a family. That was there. This long distance relationship was very tough. And that is when I decided to immigrate. And my first idea of immigration came in my mind 2017. And I was searching for different countries where I can work. I worked in the Netherlands and in Europe, in different parts of Europe. I visited as a doctor, but then I thought, okay, where are my chances? And I can keep my medicine or medical research together. So I chose 5 different countries: US, UK, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. But in between, I was in Delhi, and there was this gentleman from IRCC, which is the specialized department of immigration of Canada. And he met me and he told me that, we need doctors like you to come to Canada. These are the facilities. We have so many people who do not have doctors. So I got very motivated to apply and I thought, okay, this could be my future. And I applied for 5 different countries for for a residency. Not the residency as a doctor, but like permanent residency. Canada came back within 2 weeks, and I got PR in 2 weeks. So, and here I am today, 5 years later. Yeah.
That's nice. So, doctor, I mean, generally, when you're in your med school days, most of the doctors dream about getting into radio, dermat, medicine. They want to get into core clinical specialties. So, since your medical school days, you were sure that you wanted to get into research, science, this field, or it just happened for you, doctor?
Um, there is a good story behind it. In my first year, I got in one of my professor. They said it is disrespectful to the cadaver. We have to dissect the cadavers open to learn anatomy. And I got infected in my hand, fungal infection. And so the microbiology department came in and the labs came in that where the infections are coming from. And because the professor didn't allow me to wear the gloves and I kept getting infections. I kind of questioned maybe the formalin was not in good concentration because I challenged the department and then the microbiology department and the anatomy department together. They say, okay, he's asking a question. Let's answer the question. And if I'm sure that a research begins with a question. So because I had this question, is the formalin concentration pure enough to keep that cadaver healthy for us? Safe for us to touch it and work on it. And that is the first time I approached Indian Council of Medical Research under the Department of Microbiology, even though I was in my first year of medicine. And I was awarded with a short-term studentship research award. And it got me. It got me a kind of spark in me that, research could be another thing. I never wanted to become a doctor to begin with. I loved physics. I wanted to become a physicist and I wanted to join Baba Institute. But my father was a doctor, my mother was a nurse, and we are 5 children and nobody became doctors. So I was the last one, and parents forced me to, you have to become doctor. So I ended up there, and then I thought, okay, so I could do research and become a doctor at the same time. And that's when I thought, okay, what else I can become? And back then, I'm talking about 2005, when I entered med school. The internet was not that great. The resources were so less. And I used to go to library looking for newspapers and journals to understand what are the options I had. Because traditionally, doctors or your professors would say, you need to learn clinics so that you could become a doctor, so that you can treat patients. And that's the only idea. Things has changed over this last 20 years. And what I eventually learned that no, there are many different ways. I can become a professor. I can do research. I can do so many other things just other than, or, simultaneously just treating people, right? Just treating diseases. So your question was it from the very beginning?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
It happened because of different occasions and different things happened in my life. But eventually I fell in love with research and I wanted to combine my clinical expertise and knowledge and interest with research so that I can be where I am today.
It's really nice. So, Dr. Now, for someone who's watching this and who has Canada on mind, before we actually go in detail about your CaRMS pathway or your journey in Canada, I would like our audience to know what are the main pathways for an IMG to work in Canada now? Like, what are the major pathways that's available for, let's say, for Indian doctors to work in Canada?
Okay. For any international graduates, um, there are two different types of international medical graduates. So one is, say, somebody who lived, born, brought up, studied in India, and that's one example. And then they want to come to Canada. That's one type of international medical graduate or internationally trained physician, right? They have a license in a country and they come there. It could be from Saudi Arabia, it could be from Iran, it could be from US. They're all international medical graduate within Canada. But another type of international medical graduate is who is born in Canada, grew up in Canada, studied in Canada, but they left Canada to study abroad. Say they went to Ireland or Sikkim Manipal University to study medicine, and then they come back. then they come back to Canada. They're also under the category of international medical graduate. So it's not only that you, as a foreigner, is international medical graduate. A person who is Canadian born with a passport also can be international medical graduate. So it's the category of international medical graduate is based on where you have had or achieved your medical graduation from. That's how you're categorized. There are many different pathways to get into licensing, and that depends on what kind of degrees you have. If you have a basic MBBS or MD level degree, which means traditionally you are a general physician, then there are certain pathways. Not only one, there are many. And if you're a specialized person, say you are an anesthesiologist or you are a radiologist, a pediatrician, geriatrician, if you're a specialized person, then you have another ways. Again, there are many different ways. How it works in Canada is that federal government, there are three different government who organizes this. There are bodies in the province who decides how the system will run. So federal government is responsible for the funding, but provincial government, the health ministry, they decide how the health uh, department will run. So every province has their own rules. So when I said IMGs, different categories, and then specialists, different categories, and they have different pathways, again, if you go to different province, again, you have different choices. So it's not only one pathway. The best idea is to go to Medical Council of Canada website. There is an ebook. Medical Council of Canada organized almost every pathways in one small PDF book. So you can read through, okay, I belong to this category and I have these 1, 2, 3, 4 pathways and I can prepare accordingly. If I do not have a specialized degree, I don't have to read all of them. I don't have to go through that specialized pathway. For instance, Royal College Fellowship. The majority of the international medical graduates say they have MBBS, just
Correct.
for the conversation. And an international medical graduate with an MBBS level degree who is considered as a general physician, they have major pathway. If I have to mention some, that would be the best would be residency pathway. So you become a specialist here. That is through CaRMS, Canadian Residency Matching System. For that, there are some certain requirement, which means you need to go through certain exams and eligibility criteria. Your credentials needs to be evaluated, and there are process. There is something also called practice ready assessment, which means it's a shorter pathway and you go for about, again, province to province requirements are different. Province to province time can be different, but typically it's 12 weeks of supervised training in a province. And in that training, what you do is, again, to get into that, there are some exams you have to prove yourself. You have to pass certain exams. And then after that, you'd be interviewed and given that 12 weeks chance. Within that 12 weeks, you prove yourself that, okay, your clinical competencies are intact. And that's when you are given a temporary license to practice in that province. And typically it happens in the rural areas or underserved areas. And there would be a provincial, like I said, it's a provisional license. So it would be for a certain period of time, depends on which province. And once you do that, and within 1 year, you do not have any problem in your practice and you prove your competencies, then you can sit for the final exam, the board exam, and you can have Canada-wise license. There are certain steps as well. But the good part of this versus CARMS is that you get it within after 12 weeks, and then you start immediately practicing, which means you are already not only earning as a doctor, but also you are independently practicing with some supervision, and you do carry a license. In CARMS, you are a resident. So you are technically learning. You're still in a learning curve. You're not in the independent business, self-employed doctor. And you in CARMS, once you graduate or give the board exam, you are independent. You have Canada-wise license. So there's this differences. But again, you don't really become specialist in PRA pathway. But in CARMS, you're going into specialty. You're selecting certain specialty and you're going into it. So there's this big difference. Again, there are nuances which are very critical that somebody needs to read through. Within PRA, there are differences. PRA is like PRO is practice ready assessment within Ontario, versus PRA BC, which is in British Columbia, are different. They're different. There are differences. So those are the things, the nuances you have to check. And that is exactly why I'm saying it now. And again, I'm going to repeat again that it is important that you do research before you begin, not only watching YouTube videos and some doctors posting their own video and own experience. And I'm talking my experience today. This will not be enough. It is important that the resource should be authentic, listen from somebody who walked the path, and also have your own research done because it's your life and you have to make certain choices based on, I have a wife, I have 2 children, where do I immigrate? It's not only about your license anymore because you're at a certain age, you have family responsibility, finance. You cannot come to Canada and stay without job and just practice for the exam. You can't do that. You have to live, you have bills to pay, you have your children going to school. So there are certain life responsibilities that you have to follow through. So, and everybody's situation is different. Some people are coming from war zone and some people are coming single. They have to cook their own food. They don't have wife at home or husband at home to cook for them. So there are certain undeniable and unavoidable conditions of life that you need to think. So everybody, it is not a one size fit for all. And that is exactly why Medical Council of Canada has put the book together so that you can see, okay, you can fit in here. This is the shortest pathway for you towards licensing. This is the most reasonable for you. And that's when you need to make a decision. Okay, the final decision has to be yours because your personal life is conditioned. Nobody knows what suits best for you, right? So I said CaRMS, practice ready assessment. And if I have to remember a major one, again, there are many, but a major one, there is also something of hospitalist, like clinical associate roles. So some areas, what you can do is you can come as a, you can become a clinical, there are different names in different provinces, similar
Fellowship
role.
pathway, doctor, that you're talking about?
No. It's not fellowship. It's clinical associate. Some province needs license for it. Some province call it hospitalist. It's a job. Depending on how many years of recency of practice you have and how many years you have practiced. Say I have 10 years of clinical practice, right? So for me, it's easy to apply those kind of positions, prove myself in the interview or any exams they want me to pass versus somebody just graduated. That would be different, right? For them, it is a little different. So for clinical associate or clinical assistant roles, certain provinces, they need licensing. And if you're licensed clinical assistant or clinical associate, you can make really good amount of money and respect while you're preparing for your final doctor licensing pathway. Some provinces like Prince Edward Island, if you have evaluated or your credentials, ECA is done, then you can, in fact, through a physician applying account, you can apply for certain jobs like clinical associate. So it comes to a lot of research because every province has different opportunities. Alberta has a lot of different opportunities coming up for specialists, coming up for MBBS doctors or MD from, say, Ukraine. It is, again, not one size fit for all. You have to see where you come from, what are the degrees you have, and what you can provide, what you can offer to Canadian medical healthcare system. And you will always end up with 5 different options. It's not only that, oh, I have not enough options, I have only one pathway. That's not the case because there are many different opportunities. As long as you do your research good, you will find a pathway.
For MBBS doctors, because mostly our audience is the young crowd, the MBBS doctors.
Mhm.
So for
Right.
MBBS doctors, the popular pathway is the CaRMS pathway, which you just
Sure.
mentioned, where they
Sure.
have to give their NCC QE exam plus NSE exam, which is a must.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we speak about the PRA pathway, that's mostly for specialists, or that applies to MBBS doctors as well.
MBBS doctor as well with some clinical expertise. So if you're an MBBS with say 3 years of experience back home,
Okay,
yes,
in
you're
that
eligible.
case.
Yeah, yeah. So it depends on which province. Some province ask for 1 year of clinical experience. Some province 3 years. It's up to them. And again, it's a volatile thing. it's a dynamic thing. The health ministry and this kind of rules keep on changing. Policies keep on changing. So you also have to stay up to date what's happening.
For any pathway, irrespective whether it is for the associate physician role that you said, or for PRA, or for any other pathway, having
Uh-huh.
PR is the most important thing, right? They need to have PR and then come there for the further process, or how does it work, Doctor? Because you would have interacted with many IMGs.
Right. So there are pathways to get a job as an international doctor. So that comes through work permit, and it also again depends on which country your degree is from. Many US doctors, without getting permanent residency, they work here on work permit. But again, if you are eligible.
True, I
but
understand.
but because your crowd is young and MBBS, and you are coming from all the way from India, I think it is important for them to know that you are investing a lot of money and time. So it is understandable that you are probably not only coming for a license, but you are probably moving here. And if you're moving here, PR, the permanent residency pathway, immigration is important. So to become eligible for CaRMS, because we are talking about CaRMS, you have to be either permanent resident or Canadian citizen. So that is your best ideal strategy. You can work through that. Okay, get the PR and simultaneously prepare for exams and everything, which does not necessarily need. So some exams you can give sitting right at home, sitting in India. So you can do two things simultaneously, and then once two of them aligns together, you're ready for CARMS. Apply for CARMS.
Great, thank you. So now, Doctor, also in regard to MCCQ exam, because we meet doctors preparing for different licensing exams, whether it could be AMC or UKMLA or USMLE, or for that matter, even the UAE exams, DHA, DOH, MOH and all, we see that MCCQE pass percentage is quite good, like even NSE. It's more than 80% because when we see our doctors who are preparing for AMC or any other country, there are a lot of struggles. The pass percentage is quite less, but here the pass percentage looks very good.
Did you mean that MCCQE Part 1, passing MCCQE Part 1 pass percentage is high? Is that what your statistic says? Passing is not, the pass is required to apply. So you need to have a pass MCCQE Part 1, pass NACOSKI. That is the requirement to apply for CARMS. But again, CARMS is a whole different world. It's an algorithm. The matching is an algorithm, the prize winning algorithm system. And also there are some human part. There's an algorithm part which does the matching. Oftentimes it becomes a luck thing, but part of it is a human thing. So there are program directors, selection committees who give some scores for your CV, how you're writing your personal letter, what your CV carries, how recent is your practice, your clinical practice. When it comes to QV1, you're talking about passing rate. It's not only about passing the exam, but also better the score, your CARMS opportunity will get higher. It is a fact because you get a score for it. In many different provinces, they give a lot of importance, QV1, the score itself. Again, it's not a percentage that we get a percentile. So it's not only about how you are performing, but also with the same pool, how everybody is performing. So you are assessed within the people. What my experience, I teach classes for Q1 and I facilitate classes. And my experience is it is a doable exam, but many people struggle because passing Q1 is, I would say, more theoretical. So it's easier versus NAC. But some people for NAC is easier. It depends how you are looking at clinical practice, how good and confident you are as a doctor performing with a simulation and acting patient. The problem is that what NCC wants to know from you is different and may be different from what you have done in your country. Ethics, for instance, ethically what we do in our system in a certain situation can be different in India and it is different in Canada. There are ethical and legal and jurisdictional requirements. So those are the things which a doctor should know and learn more than a particular disease, and that's their treatment. Again, Second thing, when it comes to treatment, there are guidelines, certain guidelines in Canada. That guidelines might be different for certain disease in India. So your question was, I'm digressing a little bit, but your question was that what's the situation that why the passing rate is very high?
Correct. But
Right?
now I understood because it's a scoring exam.
It's a scoring exam.
In UK, what happens? PLAB is just a pass or fail. In Australia,
Mhm.
AMC is just a pass or fail. They are not scoring exams. So passing itself, they made it a little tougher in case of
Mhm.
AMC. But
Right.
because this is a scoring exam, I guess score matters the most, I guess, as you said.
Yeah, my suggestion is always to my mentees or IMGs that I support is that don't fix your target to just pass. Also try to achieve a little higher score because that will be evaluated and you will get a score. So in both, even NACOSKI, you will get a score. It's not only pass and fail.
I just recently came across one of your LinkedIn article where you shared openly that you didn't match this CaRMS cycle. So what was the moment like for you, doctor, personally? That is when you saw the result and you have vast experience behind you because you're not a fresher. So when you saw the result, what was going through in your mind exactly in that moment and how did you deal with it?
That's a good question. In fact, like now I'm taking a little pause and probably that is the moment I had to take a pause because that's not what I expected. I have my Q1 score is plus 2.5 standard deviation, which is more than 99th percentile, ninth point. Yeah. And I worked really hard to achieve that score. I passed all my exams, MCQE1, NACOSKI, FM Pro C with fourth quartile, Casper with third quartile, yields with a very high score. So all the required exam I have passed in within 2 month window and I prepared for about 12 to 14 months and I had um support system around me. So there were mentors who were guiding me, telling me what to do, what is my goal and what are the specialties I'm looking for. So I prepared really well in a way that this is CARMS, but this was my first experience, right? So, and everybody just before, even half an hour before the comes result coming out, was sending, oh, half an hour left, 20 minutes left, 15 minutes to go. So everybody was ready. And my husband was so excited that he was very, very excited that he was also logging in, trying to see the result. And my friends and throughout Canada, I don't know, everybody was so wishful and very hopeful. But then when the result came out, I had to take a pause because that's not what I expected. But at the same time, you have to realize one thing that CARMS is an algorithm, it's a system that's almost like a bottleneck. So you have this huge pool of people applying, and there's this tiny little seats that needs to be filled. So there's a disproportion between applicants and the spots. That's a fact. Another fact is we're all doctors. There are many doctors who has achieved scores like mine. They have better profile like mine. So you also have to achieve, it's not only me in the game. There are many other talented, brilliant people in this journey. That does this define me? Does this define that I'm not a good student? I'm not a good doctor. I'm not a good candidate. Does this define me in any categories of I'm not, I'm not, I'm not? And I found one answer. That's not the right question. Question is that did I give enough? Yes. Did I score high? Yes. Did I give my best to this application? Yes. Am I a deserving candidate for a spot? Definitely yes. Those are the reflection I had to go through within half an hour of when the result came out. And then I realized that let's assess and I'm a researcher to the core. So I had to analyze that what could go wrong. Did I was making pros and cons that what could go wrong in my application. Within that, what I found out is that there are spots that are still unfilled, 365 spots. Yeah. And most of them are family medicine spots. And if they're unfilled positions, so what went wrong that I didn't get a spot? Then it comes to the algorithm system where I rank things. And you also have to know, as a candidate, you also have to know how the ranking system work. I rank my choices, and the institute, after interview, they rank their choice of candidate. So I'm going to give you one example. So I had a very high achieving mind. So I put emergency medicine first, and then medicine first, because I wanted to become a specialist of Royal College Fellowship. I wanted to have that idea because I have a background of geriatrics. I'm a specialist already, and I wanted to have that. And I don't think it's wrong to have a good wish and good dream, right? But here's the fact. Fact is, emergency medicine has one or two positions in where I applied. Internal medicine has two or three positions where I applied. So I already applied to one of the most competitive positions. And did I apply family medicine? Yes, I did. But wasn't it my choice? It was. It was also my interest to go into family medicine so that I can serve my community. So I thought I would be good in these departments, and I have had experiences in this department. So I applied, I got interviewed. I'm already humbled and very honestly very happy to get shortlisted for interviews. And
Doctor,
then
if I may
when
just interrupt here, how many interviews did you get?
11,
11 interviews.
yeah. So no, and it already shows. Like when I was reflecting, it already shows that yes, I have done probably something good in my application that I got 11 interviews, right? And in interviews, also the interviewers, they were happy. I was happy after interviews. But everything comes down to that bottleneck where my ranking and that ranking has to match. So it's an mathematical algorithm that say, to give one example, say I chose emergency medicine first, and the emergency medicine where I applied, they have one seat. And this particular university, they selected 5 people. They ranked 5 people. That one of them they want. And say I'm one of them, but I'm at the third or fourth or second, or say I'm the second person. Now, during this matching system, if the first person also has put that's the university first, and that university had put them first, it's a match made in heaven. Nobody can break it, right? That because now the first person is gone, the first seat is gone, even if I am probably just 0.2% away from that position, I cannot get it because the spot is filled. So being unmatched is not end of your life. Being unmatched is a reality. There are many people go unmatched because simply the pool is very high. All you need to do, those who have this, I don't say it's as failure. Definitely not. It's a little bump on your road, that it's a setback where you need to reflect what you can improve on next time. It's going to be a long run. So mentally, I was prepared. Was it hard for me? Yes. Was it saddening? Yes, I would say, because I had hopes and dreams around it. I had personal planning around it, but it's what it is. And accepting the fact and understanding the system makes it easier. That's what happens with me. So was it tough? Yes, for any doctors, those who are achievers, for years practicing and bringing a lot of things in their plate to serve the community, it is tough. But we need to be also realistic. And then I posted this on LinkedIn because I am not only a doctor myself. I am a mentor. I'm a teacher and facilitator. There are many people who looked upon me in a way that, I mean, they say, and I feel very, very humbled that whatever I post or I say may make a difference. And it is important for them to know it is okay to go unmatched. It is okay for uh, uh, to have some setbacks, and it is a reality. So I didn't hesitate to post it for everyone.
That's nice. And I also saw a couple of very good comments coming from very nice
Yes.
people.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I was surprised. I got comments from many people. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I did not realize that was coming, but yeah, I loved it. Yeah. It is a support. It is a strong support, but my run is not over yet. So I am applying for second iteration. I know my worth. my self-worth. I know what I have done throughout my life, and I know what I can bring to Canadian healthcare system. So I'm very confident about who I am and what I can bring. And that's what a doctor should have, in my opinion. They should be confident about themselves and keep fighting for it.
Dr. No, since beginning, like what we understand is, I think you've dedicated all the years that you had for clinical research. I think you work with best of the best institutions and working hard on it. And I guess you moved to Canada in 2020. So what took you so long to give your Canadian licensing exams, or why now? Because I mean, is it like you're looking for a shift from clinical research to full-time clinical practice, or what is the main idea?
Thank you for asking these questions because oftentimes people only look at even program directors or selection committees, they often look at it a setback, a gap in clinics or a gap in your practice. So first of all, to clear the doubt that I have never been away from clinics completely. So I did come in the beginning of 2020 and then COVID hit. So we came to visit Canada just to see our new home, what it's going to be. And then border got closed because of COVID, and COVID hit in March. And then the restrictions started, and we were planning to stay 6 months and then leave because I had a contract with the Ministry of Health that time to go back to my work. But I couldn't because the border got closed. I was permanent resident then, but my husband was a tourist. He was just visiting, but we both got stuck here. But at that moment, we came to Ottawa. At that moment, we realized what I'm going to do. But public health, Ottawa is the capital city of Canada, and Ottawa Public Health and everybody send out some requests that those who are internationally medical graduate, if they could come out and help. So I joined Ottawa Public Health and help out as a volunteer wherever required, like even influencing people for vaccination and go for teaching them hand washing. And then there are different volunteer jobs, and I did participate in it because that time it was a life and death situation. I had 3 different nurses back in India. One nurse, one Filipino nurse, she was from Philippines, but she was working in Saudi Arabia. They passed because of COVID. They got COVID. So I lost many close people to COVID. My father, I lost to COVID in 2020. It's okay. He's in a better place now. But thank you. And then my mom got COVID as well. Thankfully, she survived. So there was this 1 year of hustle and bustle. It was a strugglesome period, and it was a dark, dark period for a newly immigrant who came for just a visit, and you get stuck and the whole plan becomes changed. And the pandemic, the literal pandemic, whole world was in a pause, right? Everything was in a pause. So if somebody just count those COVID years, what happened, that's not fair. So that's not fair why didn't I practice? Why didn't I go back? Well, it was not an option. Nobody let me leave, right? That's one. Second is that, did I stop? I didn't. I started working for people living with disabilities who cannot walk. They're stuck in wheelchair or on a bed, so that I could help in those group homes where they cannot even talk. Some people cannot talk. They cannot manage themselves and help out. I joined that. I joined foster care where children are living and that they do not know how to manage this COVID situation. And my clinical knowledge and background of research could be helpful. So I joined foster care. I joined group homes who help out people living with disabilities. I went in the community with family physicians, those who are licensed working. So retirement home. So I went with doctors to assist them in the field. So I exposed myself. I was constantly working. What I believe is a doctor's job is not only just prescribing medicine for a disease. A doctor is a social human being who needs to have social responsibility and change and adapt according to the social need. And that time I felt very good about being that person, being helpful. Did I do it so that somebody will honor it in future? I didn't think of it. Another thing, now let's talk about the systemic part of it. When I came to Canada, I did not start this licensure process right away because I thought, okay, it would be an easy journey. My learning started after I got stuck in Canada because I had a job. I was already working for Ministry of Health. So I I didn't think of getting licensed in Canada that time. I just came for landing paperwork, right? As an immigrant. But because I got stuck, then I thought, okay, what next? What I'm going to plan? So I analyzed the situation. I went to Algonquin College to have an upgrade of my education. So I studied digital health and a postgraduate diploma in digital health. So I started studying. Simultaneously, I started doing my credential evaluation, which all MBBS doctors would do. So you submit your documents, and then Medical Council of Canada would say, okay, I will talk to your university if it is valid, if it is legit, and they will check through ECFMG. Fine. So that takes time. Within that period, there are some documents which required some signatures from my university. And that signatures and stamps needed to happen in person, and border was closed. So I could not leave. I could not send those envelopes to home because it's a highly risky situation. And then the first time I could leave was 2022, September 2022. And that's when I went there. By then, I achieved my diploma in digital health, and I was already working in the field of developmental delay, in the field of foster care, also in the field with doctors in retirement homes. I was constantly working. But what I started in 2022, I went back, and all my patients, they were, no, you have to run the clinic. So I'm very happy to be blessed with people who love me and my patients who love me. So I decided, okay, I will have a visiting locum clinic where I would see my chronic patients again and again. Because I'm a geriatrician, I have elderly, heavily loaded elderly profile. So I continued my clinic. Every time I visit, I continue my clinic because I have a valid license. So I did that for 2 months in a row. Working in the society as an allied professional is going on. So I'm not too far away. I'm in the healthcare system. It's just that I'm not prescribing medicine in Canada. And every doctor, every IMG should know this. And I will say it once, but please note, you are a doctor. You will die as a doctor. Nobody's taking it away from you. Just because you cannot practice, it does not mean that you are not a doctor anymore. Okay. So it's just that the license you need, right? And it's not, like you said, why now you want to go into specialty? No, that's not the wish. It was always there. I wanted to have a license and use that license to do what I do, help out the community, working for the geriatric population. And then comes the reality that, okay, now my credentials are done, but now the exams, and I have to prepare for exams. Here comes the reality. And reality is that it's not an exam that you can just because you're a doctor, you can appear and pass. You have to know what Medical Council of Canada wants to check. You come from a different education system. You come from a different clinical background of different countries. Yes, but that does not mean in Canadian healthcare system, you'd fit in right match. You cannot be the exact puzzle piece, right? So I had to adapt and understand what Medical Council of Canada exams mean to me and what they want to know, what kind of areas I need to stress on, study, and what are the areas I am weak probably, or maybe I can improve better. So I had to study for about a year to prepare. In between, mom got the whole journey of 2020 to 2024. My mom got 3 different independent cancers. And then I had to take care of that. She had this she got hospitalized in Tata Memorial Hospital, so I had to go back and keep on coming back, and so that interrupted a little bit of my career, but I'm very happy that I could be helpful to her as well. So that's a private life. And so it took a little time to study longer, about a year. I could probably take shorter period and appear for exam, but I didn't want to because I wanted to perform really well. And I understood that score is important, not only pass. So I gave my best for a year. And then I remember I was with my mom September. It was October 2024. And that's when my mom said, okay, enough of waiting. You have to give this exam now. You're getting too late. And her background is nursing. So she was influencing me, which worked out. And so I gave exam May 2024. apply. And August 2025, my result came out and unbelievable score. And then I thought, okay, so I am in August 6th, the exam result came out. And I was okay. So I have 1 month to prepare. Can I give NACOSCI and finish? And can I prepare all these exams within October, November? So September, October, November. Can I finish all other required 4 other exams and appear for CaRMS by November? So, and I chalked it out and I said, okay, I can do it. So I prepared, gave NACOSCI, FM Pro C, Casper, IELTS, everything done. And I applied in November. So yeah, it went quite fast, even though I started really late. So yeah, to answer your question again, repeat is that I did not go away from clinic. I kept practicing. I have a telemedicine clinic. I work from home, helping communities in Saudi Arabia, communities in India, and that is going on. So my clinical practice is not going anywhere. I have been a locum doctor visiting India every time I go, and the paperwork took time. So system also needs some time to evaluate things. Yeah, and now I'm back in the business. So let's see what happens in second iteration.
Great. It is very nice interaction and a very inspiring story. And you as a person, truly inspiring. It was wonderful talking to you. I guess you are one of that guest that I really didn't think that I'm interviewing someone. It was just like, it was a natural conversation, like how when I speak to doctors one-on-one on table, I talk in the same way. It was like that, very nice, very humble, very down to earth. It was great talking to you.
To make it concise, as a doctor, anybody has gone through a long path, studying 4 years and half, and then another year of internship, and then house job to learn the clinics and expertise, and some independent practice. Altogether, you're a doctor, you're MBBS, or you're a specialist, it doesn't matter. You have come a long way and you have already proved that you have resilience. So it is going to be another test of resilience. And I think all doctors go through their whole life, entire life. So keep that resilience alive so that you can get through, achieve what you want to achieve.
Our prayers are with you. Like you, even we are going to eagerly wait for the result date now.
21st of April, the March 2nd result will come out. And I'm ready for it. I mean, if it happens, it happens. Otherwise, again, November 2026, I will apply again. I mean, my mother-in-law says one thing. If somebody closes the door, you come through the window. Oh, it's a Romanian saying. Yeah, I'm not never gonna stop coming in. You wanna close the door? No, not happening. Not with me. Thank you so very much. I'm very happy and I feel lucky to be here again, especially for my Indian juniors, and they're try some luck abroad. So good luck to everybody and thank you so much for having me.
It's a great, inspiring story. And thank you so much for your time.